Maybe listen to me speak, yeah. No matter what, just let it go.
Pop, Perswayable. What's going on, boo-boos? Where do pirates obtain their hooks? The secondhand store. This is the game Hide. It's a prop hunter game. This is my decompressing game. This is my... I just want to have fun. I troll so fucking hard in this game. Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with these sorts of games, you see that number right there, 321. All right, so that means that I have a logo above my head and they know where I am. So there's different ways to play this game. Obviously, trying to hide is an option, but Persway don't play that way. Persway picks the smallest item and just fucking jumps around. The only a little annoying thing about the game is that there is partial auto aim. So like even if you're jumping like a god, they're still gonna like nick away at you as long as the cursor is anywhere near you. So it can be a little hard to pull this off. You're gonna see later in this game everyone emote. Yeah, you're starting to see it now because they're all emote on the side. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? So why do I have a decompressing game, right? So, story time. Well, when I was 8 years old, I think, I was probably 8 or 9 years old, I had a really difficult time with coping when I would lose a game, like a board game. Like I would lose my shit. I would flip the board over, throw shit across the room. I was a devil child. This is a true fact. My family forbid me from ever playing baseball because one time when my family was like, oh, like, you know, we're going to get him ready for baseball and get him prepared so when he goes into the league, and I got called out and I chased the person with a metal bat. It was like 8 years old. I was a fucking monster. Can you imagine you're chasing someone around the field with a bat? And I think I hit him too with the bat. I was such an asshole. I really was. And as I got... So anyways, my family brought me to a psychologist when I was like 8 or 9. Because I think around this time when I was in second grade, I started a gang. I can't make this shit up. I started a gang in my school. And I was like the head gang guy. And I we would like go after kids in the bathroom and be like, you can either fight me or you can solve a math problem. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. My family got called in. It was a big thing. The superintendent and the principal and the teachers and everybody called my family and told them there's a big gang thing going on. And I've always had a problem with that sort of anger and losing. We used to have like these field hockey things in third grade. And me and this kid got into a fight. I hit him across the face with it. And so, I shouldn't laugh. I'm not laughing that I hit the guy. I actually remember the guy's name. His name was Tyler. Me and him ended up becoming really good friends. And now that school is they got rid of all that equipment for recess. Because, you know, your boy here is a douchebag. So growing up, I was very angry. I couldn't really handle this. So they brought me to a psychologist based on all of these events. And the psychologist, apparently, this is according to my family, I remember it vaguely, but he set up a board game in a way where I would lose. And I lost. And I handled it with grace. There was just something about it. I was like 8 or 9. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm being watched. Like something's going on. And so he kept winning. I kept losing. And then he would allow me to win, so he didn't think I knew what was going on. And eventually the psychologist told my family, this doesn't seem like it's that big of an issue. And my mom to this day said that she wanted to punch me in the fucking mouth. She was like, I wanted to punch you in the fucking mouth. So I convinced the psychologist that my family were the crazy ones and not me. And I think I came up with some sort of story about how It's my family's fault, not me. Whatever. I don't remember all of it. So, at a very young age, losing in games and all that stuff, I had a clinical problem. It really, really did. And it was more of a personality thing too. And it probably only got worse from there. Just in general, I was angry. It wasn't just video games and regular games. I was also a prankster. One time, we were at the Rhode Island College. And I think it was Rhode Island College. And there was a big wrestling tournament. It was my brother's wrestling tournament. And there must have been at least 5,000-6,000 people. I mean, this is where everybody in the state comes for all of the wrestling, their family. And I pulled the fire alarm. So, when I got to middle school, you know, I got not suspended. I got detention once because I walked out of the classroom and I just chilled in the cafeteria to get some milk. I was like, fuck this class, and I just went and just got milk. And there was a principal at the time, and her name was Miss McGuckin. She was a very fierce person, and she scared the living shit out of me. She was the only one that, like, kind of got to me. And what they would do is if I would stay on my best behavior, they would buy me McDonald's at the end of the week. And even though I was such a problem child and she was very, very, like, stern, she took a liking to me, and it was this tough love that I really needed at a significant portion of my life. Unfortunately, she passed away from cancer around that time too, and so that was really tough for me, losing somebody that really disciplined me. And I was also angry because I couldn't speak well, right? I had a speech impediment, and I had to be in speech therapy for 15 years. Just to learn one language. The language that we're all supposed to naturally learn. Took me 15 extra years to learn it. Some people don't understand that, and they think that learning another language is easy, and it's not. Like all my Spanish teachers. So, eventually I had to switch schools because I was such a problem child, and then went to another school, and I got suspended a few times for fighting people on the bus. I got into to robbing households and things like that. And so what was the line, if you will, is that my crew, so to speak, somebody stole a gun, and I wasn't even, like, in the area for the whole summer. They put me in a summer camp, and they tried to blame me for stealing a pistol or a gun or some sort. I don't know. So my family's like, fuck, we're gonna move him again. So it wasn't just getting mad at video games. It was personality thing. It took a lot of work. I was a problem child. So I came back in ninth grade. This is true. This is a fact. In ninth grade, I had 23 detentions. I had the cops called on me. I got suspended twice for robbing the cafeteria and then selling all the beverage drinks. And I was just an asshole. And 10th grade happened, and I had 3 detentions. In 11th grade, I had 1 detention. 12th grade, none. So what happened is that I was getting better as I got older. I started to calm down. I started to understand my feelings. I could speak English better, so I wasn't getting made fun of as much. I stopped trying to be a tough guy and turned more into a comedy guy. I realized that I liked attention, so I would do the whole, like, wannabe tough guy act, fight people, steal for the attention. And I switched it all up into comedy. Robin Williams was my idol. And to this day, I have not gotten into another fight since I was 16. I'm 32 now. I have no speeding tickets. I've never been arrested. And obviously I don't have a criminal past. So I got that anger out of me. Even now, like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm not really a yeller. Sometimes if I get riled up, my voice can rise, but it's not like yelling at you. It's more of me getting amped up, like you would know. And my conflict resolution skills have gotten better. I matured. I calmed down. And, you know, obviously that inner beast is always going to be there, but there's no urges for it to come out. Except when I fucking play video games. It's the video games. So I've gotten much better at it. You know, like, if I go to an esports tournament, and we lose, I'm fine. Like, we're good. If we play basketball, football, whatever, and I'm good. But I've matured. I'm a lot better than what I used to be, but sometimes I get fucking riled up. Especially online, when that human element is no longer there, when no one is watching you and you don't see the person who's beating you, and it just can get so frustrating. And so what I had to learn, even with Identity 5, is I know the person that I am. I know online in the internet, everybody wants to act like they're perfect and peachy. You get that one screenshot to try to prove like someone's an asshole, right? But the reality is that we all have very different personality types. You're not going to change people, and even so, it comes within their own volition. They need to want it, and it takes a lot of time. So I'm at that stage now in my life where, once in a while, a petty comment might come out. Like, some people take it way too far. Like, I'll look in the Identity 5 post chat. People are telling people to go kill themselves. I'm not talking about that. But sometimes I get angry and I'd be like, dude, go to a quick match and practice. Or I'll be like, or I want to say, man, Ripper, that was a fucking lucky foggy blade. So it's like, it's not like mean. It's not at the throat, but it's petty. And I usually can control it. And so at this stage of my life, I've learned that if I feel compelled to start writing some shit, it's like, dude, you got to step away from the game. Like, that's that inner beast coming back out. You've spent your entire life trying to control that. You spent your entire life trying to be a good person. I can play video games for 8 hours. Talk shit one time. Something like, come on, man. Like, what's going on here, right? And when I go to bed at night, I think about that. And it makes me feel terrible. And I am glad that I feel that way. Because that is what has inspired me to become a better and better person. But man, it's hard to control sometimes. There's times where my ex didn't want to play games with me. I'd get so fucking riled up. It's like this thing. But it's like I've been able to tackle the anger and all of that stuff in every other aspect of my life except with the video game. So if you're somebody that has a tough time dealing with it, I understand you. And sometimes you need to talk with somebody who understands you. I'm not going to go on here and rattle off and tell you, you need to do this and that to be a better human being. What I'm going to tell you is that if you go to bed at night feeling bad, that is a good thing. That is the first step. And so when I feel compelled to start writing some of that petty shit in post chat, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm just getting mad. You play 6 matches and everyone's dying in 20 seconds. It's frustrating. You're trying to rank up. I get it. But it's very important that no matter how justified you feel, there's still another human behind that screen, and it is very easy to forget. It's like the shopping cart theory of digital media. Are you going to put the shopping cart away when no one's watching you? And it's like, are you still going to be a good person even though you don't have to be and no one will ever hold you accountable? And it's very easy to get frustrated, especially if you have the personality type and the anger issues that I did as a kid. And it's something that you're going to have to work on for the rest of your life. But let me tell you something. The more you control it, the better you feel, the better of a human you are. And so if you go to bed feeling bad or some shit, you should. That's a good thing. It means that your behavior sucks, but your conscience is there. And from my standpoint, even from a clinical standpoint, it is easier to mold behavior with a good conscience than what it is trying to convince somebody that they need to have a good conscience. It's much tougher. It's very, very difficult. So here are some of the strategies that I personally do. Okay? And sometimes, some days, I'm better than other days. So the first thing is that I tell myself, always try to be polite and kind. And if I feel compelled to write something, then I start realizing that I'm losing that control, right? Because I made a contract with myself. Do the best you can to not be petty. Do I fail the contract sometimes? For sure. Absolutely. But I do the best that I absolutely positively can. All right. Number 2. Don't focus on the toxicity of other people. Focus on your own. Everybody, we all know the internet's toxic. We know that the game culture is toxic. So if you start believing that it's normal, you're going to start conforming to that sort of behavior. And that's a very big red flag. You can't do that. All right. So instead of me being like, why did this person write this on English 1 chat? Instead, I'm like, why did I have to tell that ripper that he got lucky? And I'd just be like, man, that was a good foggy blade. I'm being petty. Now, I'm one of those people where I calm down after like 3-4 minutes. You know, I instantly calm down, but it's like that initial reaction. So, step 3. If I'm having a rough rank session, or I'm having a rough session in general, what I do is if I still want to play the game, I try to play a character or something that I am not good at. It may seem counterintuitive. It's like, wait a minute, you're losing. Why are you going to increase the odds of you losing? When I go into a match with my best character, there's a lot of pressure on me. I'm looking to win. If I go into a match with a character I'm not familiar with, I'm starting to separate myself from the whole losing aspect. All right? and you know, that's tough. And the last step is that if I genuinely can't control it, I really feel compelled to write some shit, then I get off the game now. It's okay to get off the game and just be like, you know what, tonight's not my night. You know, because you're just going to get stressed out. This is supposed to be your leisure. This is supposed to be something that decompresses your stress. It's not supposed to add to it. And when it adds to it, it's just going to get you frustrated. You're going to feel justified in your head to lash out. You lash out, and then you act like you don't give a fuck and have a conscience because everyone else is doing it. It all ties in together. So these are some of the things that I do. These are some of the things I'm still working on in general. You know, I just had a match. A priestess died in like 20 seconds. The fucking first thought in my head is, how the fuck are you dying to a photographer in the regular world in 20 seconds as a priestess? That's that first thought. That's the initial thought that I get. And then in my head, I gotta be like, yo, I got bad games too. Like, it happens. You know, that person probably feels like shit right now. Like, why am I thinking like this? And then the action of, hey, man, like, good game, shit happens. I've been there before. So my purpose of this video is it's easily to get distracted by other people's toxicity, but work on your own. And I have no advice if somebody talks shit first. I fucking suck at keeping my mouth shut.